All right, it's 1 o'clock. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty, and justice for all.
Let's pray. Most gracious God, we just come before you, asking your presence with us, that your wisdom and guidance will be imparted to us. We celebrate the renewal of the earth and the springtime and all coming back to life. And just ask for renewal for all the government employees as well. And they will have a renewed sense of energy and the jobs that they do. And we pray all this in your name.
Okay, thank you for all you out there. That was Pastor Ron Stair from Hiawatha's First Christian Church. We thank you for giving the prayer. So the first thing we have on our agenda is county personnel and public comment. Come on up, have a seat if you would.
Right. Ron Stair, president of the Hiawatha Lions Club. And we are looking for a project for doing an environmental project for the week of Earth Day, which I believe is somewhere around April 22nd. Our idea was, I know we have a lot of trees planted around here. I didn't know if any of them had died or anything and needed replaced, but well, that was our idea, because planting a tree does provide shade, which lowers the temperature of the earth a little bit as well, and it cleans the air and things like that. So that was what we were thinking for our environmental project. But if you guys have another idea for an environmental project, we would certainly be open to hearing.
Well, I think planting a tree is a wonderful idea, especially since we're in the city of beautiful maples, right?
Yes,
So many of the maple trees around town have reached their lifespan, and we have a lot of dead trees, and we need to be replacing them if we want to continue to be the city of beautiful maples. So I would be happy to be part of a project where we're planting another maple tree, or just a beautiful tree, whatever you guys decide about.
My opinion's been that the courthouse has plenty of trees on it. But
well, if you have
I'm not-
other property, county property where you thought.
I'm
we
not
could
opposed to
have
planting trees, but
I don't know. Here at the courthouse, didn't the janitor, didn't he have something to say about the landscaping?
He's the one that's he's been doing all the good work and
Yeah.
getting things cleaned up, and so we could definitely talk to him and see if there's an area that a tree could be planted.
And I agree. I think it's a fine idea. We just want to make sure we talk to the right people.
Sure.
And Dave Sheets would be the guy I would talk to.
Okay,
And I just saw him not 5 minutes ago.
okay.
We need to get you connected with him.
Okay.
That sound reasonable? Okay.
All right.
Uh, All right. And when do you need to know for sure?
We have our meeting next Tuesday.
Okay.
So
Where do you have your meeting at?
at the Chinese restaurant down here.
Okay, yes, I've seen you guys in there.
Yeah,
All right.
Very good.
great. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
got one question.
Oh, yeah.
Do that need any more trees out of the lake?
Well, that would be a good possibility too. Yeah.
Well, I can tell you that a couple buddies and myself this last year invested in a few trees for around town. We just started going around to some of the areas that trees have been removed, and so we planted 2 this year in town in the
Okay.
parkways. But there's always places in town that I know people, would be willing to have a maple tree. So whether it's on the courthouse or at the lake or in town, the thought of, putting one tree in is a good start.
Katie Miller had told us about the Grimm's Nursery has Hiawatha maples.
Correct.
But I talked to them and they aren't going to have any available for planting
Mhm.
in the time frame that we wanted to do. So we would have to come up with a different tree for that.
There's also, they have different varieties of maples too.
Right,
So I'm sure we could find a
sure,
maple for you.
sure.
I think
All
that's
right.
a wonderful idea.
Barb, is there a way to contact Dave from this room? Could we? Could you call him so we can get these two gentlemen connected? If that's possible, and yeah, take it from there, I guess. Is that right? Or do we want to hear what he comes up with? Let us know and.
Well, if he's around and available, we could do this right away and be done with it.
Yep.
If not, we could. Sounds like she's got him on her phone.
Yeah, he's gonna be surprised.
Okay, all right, no worries.
Sounds like-
All right, wait. Three. I don't think. Yeah, the doctor.
Oh.
Today.
Okay,
Good.
well, how can we get them connected?
I'll just take, your number and
Sure.
I'll contact Dave and.
Sure. My number is 913-530-0741.
He'll get tomorrow.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thanks for
And so,
coming in.
Are the commissioners, are we in agreement that if there is space at the courthouse? That, and Dave thinks there's space, that we could have a tree here?
I mean, I'm okay with it.
Bill, are you okay with it?
If you guys want it, that's fine.
Thank you all.
Okay, thank you for coming.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for leading a prayer too. Okay, is there any other county personnel or public comment? Seeing none, we will move on, but as always, if you've got something to say and we're here, we will make time for you. The first item on our agenda is the minutes from the 23rd. Are there any additions, corrections, or comments to the minutes as presented in our meeting packet?
I went through the minutes this morning and I do not have any comments. They look accurate.
Right?
I question whether or not, the man who did it in the executive session, his name should be included or not. We interviewed somebody or we talked to somebody in executive session. I'm not sure we don't their name in there.
Oh, okay, I get it.
I know it's up to where you guys think, but
So what he's talking about is at the bottom of page 2, I guess the minutes there, 206, the applicant's name was mentioned in that executive session. Is it customary to have that name in there or should that be removed?
I was wondering if that's what we should do or not.
That's not in the other ones.
We're gonna.
I mean, I think we usually we don't put it in there.
Okay, so you'd like to amend the minutes to remove the name for the 2:06 PM?
Yep.
All right, so then is there a motion to accept the minutes as corrected?
I'll make a motion to correct or to accept the minutes as corrected.
Is there a second?
That's second.
Any more discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, motion carried. Bill, you are very thorough. Thanks for catching it. Okay, number 2 is accounts payable from the 31st.
Mhm.
Any questions or comments on that?
I don't have any questions on the accounts payable.
My comment was that the medical bills in the jail are kind of pricey.
Medical bills in the jail.
I'm not saying they're wrong, but just that things a little higher, you know. That's,
Are you questioning the
No,
the
no.
amount?
I'm not questioning anything. I'm just making the comment.
Oh, okay.
So to my understanding, as soon as someone's taken in custody, the county assumes the liability for any healthcare expenses that happens. So
Right.
that's not county policy, that would be state or
Correct.
federal or something that's over our head.
I mean, I'm not saying it's something that
Sure.
we can do anything about. It's just something that,
So I'm-
no.
I read an article about this within the last week or so, that their health insurance actually, once they're taken into custody, it just stops. And it all gets lumped on the government. So I don't know who started that, but it's pretty expensive. Okay. So any other questions or comments about that? Anyone will make a motion to approve accounts payable in the 331?
So move.
Okay, it's been moved. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. Any more discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
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 All right, motion carried. Item number 3 is the payroll from, well, I guess 4, the 1st of April.
Hmm.
So as you go through it, it seems like the only overtime again is with the sheriff's department, which I understand, but it looks like none of the other departments are really having to work overtime, which is a good thing.
All right. You got any questions?
No comments.
No comments? All right. Does anyone want to make a motion to approve the payroll?
I'll make a motion to approve the payroll of 4/1/2026.
All right, is there a second?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any more discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, motion carried. We're check marking through this. Next is the solid waste hauler agreement.
So I had reached out to Nikki in the request for bid proposal. The request for bid did specifically say that we're requesting a bid for services, but also if there was any other items that they wanted to include in that. We talked a little bit about it. I know originally we were talking about the fuel surcharge, and I wanted to make sure that all the bidders had a chance to basically request something like that. They did have that chance. The fact that the second place bidder didn't request anything is irrelevant, but the low bidder did ask that we would take that into consideration. And so I had sent an email to her saying that my opinion is it should be added back on the agenda before we sign it, and that we do talk about a fuel surcharge. And so she did that.
And by she, you mean the clerk.
The clerk, Miss Lee added it back into the agenda, yes.
And so this surcharge language is just verbatim out of our contract with him.
Correct,
All right.
correct. And so, I mean, obviously, they're trying to protect themselves. Times like this, when you see a rise in fuel so drastically,
Sure.
they're basically coming in and saying that they can't afford to lose money, and I understand that, and it's acceptable to me because it was part of the bid request if they wanted to bring that up.
There was a couple other things that was changed on it too, I think, that I talked to Nikki Monday or something. And they didn't change anything specifically. They just said it would be paid $375 per load haul or haul load.
Yeah, so the way I understand it is, yes, their base price of $375 per load, that remains the same. That's fuel surcharge would just simply kick in when fuel rises above a certain dollar.
Right, we just I had Nikki change that to make it more clear. That was for every load you haul, it was $375 and not 3 loads a day at $375.
No,
And that's what you understood, but I just wanted to make it clear in there. In another place it said, and invoice or something, and we just changed it to original invoices, so you could have more than one invoice a month. I mean, I don't think we changed anything that wasn't going on before. Yeah, I think we just made it more clear. That was in exhibit B.
Was that your understanding that the base contract was essentially the same? You know, a lot of the items, the dig out fee, all that was all the same. And if there's a day with short loads that you get paid, I don't remember what the
2750.
half rate. Yeah, okay, all that was the same. That's the way I understood it, but you made a minimal like language change.
Just added one word, hold in there, hold
Okay.
loads instead of just loads.
So, I think the basic contract we're in agreement with, what the item for discussion here is this fuel surcharge.
Correct.
So give me some thoughts and opinions on this.
So we've used the same language that the county's already entered into with hams.
Mhm.
So I don't see any problem with the language. Obviously, the basis of fuel consumption looks correct at 5.5. I look at the national average, the national average is 5 to 6.
Right.
So they're right in line with that. And then, the fuel surcharge is obviously from the county landfill to the facility that they're dumping at. That does not include, obviously, fuel for their trucks to get back to their home base. And the other thing was, I also reached out to the contractor and asked if he was comfortable with the same dollar amount. The hams one, it stipulated that it would start at $3.50 a gallon. So I guess that's the discussion right now, is do we agree with that?
What I don't agree with is this formula they have written down here. It says your trips and round trip miles and average monthly price. And they put dollars per gallon in there divided by the 5.5. But I think it should be the average monthly price minus the base amount. Like if it's $5.50
Yeah, so
price,
you're correct. The way it typically works for the feds is they, they look at the average fuel price. And the delta between what you're paying and the average fuel price is the
it's a surcharge.
surcharge, exactly. Does that make sense to you? Okay,
But
It's
No.
missing the minus symbol is all you're saying.
that's correct.
well, it's missing. It's the average monthly price minus the base price. So it's,
The base price is the driver in the equation.
right, and that needs
And the base price is driven by the feds.
to be in there.
So
Minus.
in fact,
What's the round trip miles? Do you know to the approximately?
I don't know that, but I did talk to John and he gave me that on average per day, they use 78 gallons of fuel to do 3 loads, to go there, back 3 times is 78 to 80 gallons a day and I just wanted that for our own information because, I didn't know if it was 100 gallons or 150 gallons or whatever. And he told me that his records show that it's 78 gallons based off of about 5 to 6 miles per gallon.
When they gave me the sheet of what we would get paid from every landfill, I think they're counting Brown County as a round trip of 130. I think,
With his numbers, that makes sense. 3 trips at 5.5 miles a gallon, that figured 146 miles. So, okay. So that should be, I was just trying to think. And the sheet we have with the US on highway diesel fuel price, this is from the Midwest. This is for the Midwest sector, the Energy Information Administration of the US Department of Energy.
That's correct.
Uh,
Again, that changes.
Right.
When I looked it up this morning, it was 372 is what the feds were listing.
So what are we seeing here? Because I see US Midwest of March 23rd, it says it averages 5.16 a gallon.
I'm not exactly sure where she pulled that information.
That's
That was
what
cool. But I know that talking with the owner, he said that he was comfortable with the $350 amount to begin with.
Okay.
And obviously that can change. That could change next month.
Right.
But as long as the formula, as long as we understand the formula, and Bill, you're correct. you have to have the average in there to deduct what they averaged during the month.
Right.
Then we should be able to keep it pretty clear. And let's hope that things get better in a few months and we're not dealing with this. That'd be wonderful.
Right.
So you have in your iPad here, you're going. to
I
the-
asked what the average was today with the feds, and that was the average today.
Okay,
So that was what number?
372 was the average today. They said that they were happy with the $350.
is 372 an accurate number? For on highway fuel right now
For
Diesel?
for diesel?
road diesel,
Seems a little low.
well, yeah, I can't go buy it for that.
Yeah.
We're in the Midwest, not right now,
429 is the cheapest.
but that's your base, if I understand right, that's your base.
That's correct.
Where we're saying we're happy with the $3.50
Okay.
base,
That's correct.
yeah.
All right,
So the way Ham's would figure it for us is anything over the 350,
That's
and
correct.
they would subtract,
right,
Yes.
okay.
so, yeah.
All right, so we need to, if nothing else, right now, we need to change that formula to make it accurate.
Correct.
All right.
If,
So,
if we're gonna sign it and she's gonna sign it, we can. And I don't know what Nikki would say on it, but I know on contracts, even if we were to write it in both initial, it would be legal. I don't know if you guys have done that in the past or if you need to go ahead and reprint it out.
it's right here.
So what we need, I'm feeling minus. Is that all right?
There's what it says. Bill, do you have the formula written out the way you'd like it to be?
No, well, let's see, I kind of did.
Yeah, it's missing the,
It's just minus the base rate per gallon. I mean,
that's correct. And that doesn't say that.
So then this formula. You just need a minus in the our base rate of.
That's correct.
That's correct. Okay. Mhm.
So in the formula line, we'd be adding just, at the end of it, there would be a minus the base price would be part of the formula. Correct.
So go back in time a little bit. You come up, I got confused. When you came up with this 372, what does that mean?
So they had in there 350 with hands, right? Since then, the national average had went up. Instead of, they were using 350 at a time when fuel was low and that contract was written. When I asked for the national average to pick based on the Department of Energy today, it said 372. Does that mean that's 100% accurate? I can't tell you. But I was going through and doing the formula at home because I wanted to be able to come to the meeting and understand why that was wrong. So that's just where I got it.
so does that include the taxes or is that?
That, from what I saw, that was everything.
So,
You got to remember, they're going off of national average though too, and there's a lot of places in the nation where it's cheaper than. There's places where it's a lot more expensive too, but that's what they were saying.
when I take that number and the cross reference with that chart we had, what I want to know is that an actual like US Department of Energy website?
Yes,
And it changes. It's updated.
it's gonna change. It's gonna change probably daily, weekly, if not daily.
Okay. Okay, so if we're all understood, we are going to use $3.50 a gallon as our base price. We want to use the words right. So that was the basis of this contract in your bid, it was a 350. And then this fuel surcharge agreement will take effect or will go into effect when that monthly average price is $3.
Which it is, right, yeah,
Which it is.
right.
And we did the math to change the formula so it would read correct. And that's in the contract. We can make that change. Are you gonna reprint one? Certainly.
And so if you look at the chart that you were looking at also, if you look at the days, that was when the fuel was over $100 a barrel too. So
Did you make the changes on?
We didn't.
Oh, I didn't know.
So on the last yellow post-it note,
We all.
yeah, that's where we'll change that formula. Yes. Maybe helps by pointing at it.
I'm not sure the minus, but I thought it was. No, it's not minus.
This shows that we don't change the group.
And so like I say, when I reached out to Mr. Kine, he was happy, he was okay with that amount.
It's that form, it's not even in his contract that they signed, is it?
It's added to the one that
That's on here,
we had printed on our disk.
okay.
Yep.
Right.
So. All very simple.
So, for instance, on an average, if you were looking at it right now, right? If you were using the 372 and the average went up to 450, which it is somewhere around that right now, probably. Okay, so with the base at 372, it would have resulted in a 20.7 cent per gallon surcharge. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So at 450, using the 372, their surcharge would have equated to 21 cents basically per gallon. Is what the surcharge would have been.
I think I'm just trying to take this same math. So if they took one trip, it's 146 miles round trip. Times the 450, which would be the average monthly price, minus the 350, it's just the one divided by 5.5. So 146 times one equals 146 divided by 5.5. That gives you $26.50. Is that right?
So how many miles was it?
146
146
figures.
divided and with an average of 5.5 miles per gallon.
Yeah.
So at this, they would have been getting 20 cents times those miles.
Yeah. So we're basically the same because it's.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just.
It's similar and it's gonna always, but that's exactly why I wanted to do the math before I came here because I've never figured out the fuel surcharge before and I wanted to make sure that
Yeah.
we were
Yeah.
correct and also. We also want our subcontractor to not go broke working for us.
So I think that's right. So if fuel average is 450, that's what it is now, and we're setting this at 350 with the mileage given, it's going to be a $26.54 per load.
Per load
So
change. So it's
that would-
it's
that would
taking you,
seem about-
yes, it's taking you closer to that $400 per load is what it's doing.
Okay, so the math works out. We're just triple checking. Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Thanks for your patience too.
So on an average day, it's really another $60 a day.
Or,
They're doing 3 loads.
78.
or 78,
Thank you.
78 to $80.
Thank you. Okay.
And that's the fuel doesn't continue to rise.
Right. So the rest of the contract is the same as what it was. I will look at. Okay, that's part of the formula. Yeah, that's the way she did it.
Thank you, Barb.
And that carries over there.
Okay. All divided by,
5.5 miles per gallon. So we'll have to put that in pen.
right. Up there it says. This is the fuel consumption.
And again, he's telling me that he's averaging about 78 to 80 gallons per day.
So at the rate that today, it'd be about $78 to $80 a day.
Yep. For the 3 loads.
For 3
Correct.
loads, right, which is. Comes back to you $26 a month.
Okay, so to review, you've seen, so we have this blank, so we need to fill this in. This will be 5.5 miles per gallon.
That's correct.
That'll be 5.5 miles per gallon. This blank will change month.
That is correct.
All right.
Hopefully not too many months.
Well, right. That
Wait
one's-
a minute. This is what's gonna change.
Well, that's what
Okay.
this is. That's all together.
Oh, all right, that goes, yeah, okay. Minus. Okay,
All right, so the contract's been amended. I'm going to pencil in here or pin in the 5.5
Blue ink or
black.
black, can you do black or blue? You're fine with either?
Is that okay? 5. Do I need to sign my name by that adjustment?
I would initial.
that's what you did on the hams when we initialed it in.
Okay, so now we've seen that and I made the correction. So is there a motion to approve this solid waste hauler agreement with the revisions?
I would make a motion to approve the solid waste hauling agreement with the additional surcharges, exactly.
Okay,
Fuel surcharge.
is there a second?
A second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. This was a lot. Is there any more discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. Thank you. Now, would you like to come up here? Because we need your signature. Thanks for doing all that ahead of time too.
Oh, I just didn't want to have to do it here in the meeting, so.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. All right. It's done. Okay. Item number 5 is the internal property use agreements, extension 4H in Fairwood. Any questions or comments about this?
Yeah, it's something we do every year, correct?
Much, I don't know. I'm never meeting, so is there, you got something, Bill?
No, but
Okay, I
Right.
move we accept the internal property use agreements with the extension office regarding the meeting, the 4H meeting and the Fairwood. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion? Not all in favor, say aye.
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 all right,
Okay, motion carried, times 3. So number 6 is the landfill high wind policy. This is something that the clerk found from another county in Kansas, and we adapted it to fit Brown County. Brandon at the solid waste department, he looked at it and liked what he saw, so we just changed the county names, and we'd like to go ahead and use this as our own policy. Is there any thoughts one way or the other?
I also think we need to let everybody know that's watching it, it's not just Brown County that basically wants to close the landfill due to high winds. It's also the owners of the trailers that we use to haul waste. They don't want their trailers on the road after a certain amount of,
right.
whether it's 40 or 45. So it's not just Brown County shutting it down. It's also the trailers that cause this.
Good clarification.
We need to add that in here to that policy or not?
I don't think so. I mean, it's our policy, but I've got questions already, like, why do we do it? Or, what was the reasoning? And it's obviously, we have a responsibility not to have our trash blowing around the neighbors that have their property around our landfill, but also there's a safety factor with the trucks too.
They're very tall, lightweight trailers.
Right,
And they catch a lot of wind, and if we were relying on hams alone to get rid of the trash, they wouldn't send their trucks. When the wind's blowing over, I think he said 45 miles an hour, so. Then what would happen is the trash would continue to come into the landfill, and then the tipping floor would get full and it pushes out and then the wind carries it away. So that's the Cliff Notes version. So is there anyone want to make a motion to approve the high wind policy?
Before we do, what would the resolution number be? 2026 dash 12?
So you,
I got ahead of myself, so. What's the correct way to do that? Okay,
you're right. Number 10. The policy.
Okay,
well. I guess I hadn't considered that, just assumed they were
but we only need to approve one?
the same, so a resolution would have more. Strength, is that. Yeah. Do you gentlemen have any thoughts, one way or the other?
I didn't realize it had to be separated out, so, I mean, to me, it's one and the same. It's whatever's easiest for us to do, we're still getting the same effect.
the resolution probably has to be printed in paper, but we need to print it in the paper anyway, probably. To notify people.
So by doing the resolution, it probably gets the communication out there a little bit more. So that's the way I would want to go.
It's like an ordinance. So.
Yeah. And based off of the last windstorm that we had and the number of calls of people that were upset because they went there and it was closed and they didn't understand it. I think that communicating that, getting that message out, the next time we have a windstorm, maybe it'll calm things down a little.
Okay, the resolution says notice of closure shall be provided as soon as practicable. Do we need to define who is communicating, who's making the phone calls?
So in my opinion, it would be the landfill director, just like the last one where he reached out the night before.
Okay,
I think that we would have to make sure that he's clear on that he would be responsible for making those notifications. And then we put it on the radio last time. I think that would be the proper way to do it, right? The quickest. And then also needs to be on our website. And so Dallas, he would have to communicate with you, correct? That evening or the business day that he's going to do it. Does that work?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think those two forms of communication are about the best thing we can do. The website immediately, the radio station, and until we actually had a different Facebook page, I think that's the way to do it.
do we need language in there that clearly defines solid waste manager takes care of that, makes the call? Or is that just part of his?
Well, it already says that operational decisions at the site shall be made by the solid waste director.
Mhm.
Correct? So as long as we communicate that that's his
fine.
his role, I don't think it needs to be anything else.
What's consultation with the county chairman? So.
Yep.
So as long as there's a place, so that people they should be aware if there's high winds forecast that they need to call ahead, make sure it's open,
And that's exactly why we're also doing the sign.
right?
Okay.
So,
So the sign will be communication at the gate. People go in and out of that gate all the time. They'll be reading it all the time. The resolution will get it out that we've made basically an ordinance.
right,
And I think that's a pretty
Okay.
good start.
All right, sounds good. Then does anyone want to make a motion on resolution 2026-12? And establishing a high wind policy for Brown County solid waste landfill.
I'd remove pass resolution 2026-12. Highway policy at the landfill.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Is there any more discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
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 Okay, motion carried. Yeah, I can. Okay. Item number 7 is tax change orders. Informational. Any comment on that?
So the cutoff date is today, correct? For,
I think it was the 27th.
okay,
It was 30 days from the date of mailing.
okay. And so there's going to be a number of people in the queue. I think the last time I checked, there was over 100 people that had come in. So these tax change orders are going to continue to come in
Uh-huh.
over the next, I don't know, probably month as he goes through those. Is that correct?
Yep, and he was out sick quite a few days too, so those would have been.
Okay.
And is there any more questions on that?
I don't have any more.
I so rudely neglected you in the back of the room. And would you like to
That's
talk to
why I
us?
moved it.
That was very strategic of you. I'm sorry. I really am. Come on up.
I actually need an executive session.
All right.
with you three involved.
Okay, now our county counselor just got on.
Oh. Hi,
So
Austin.
can we call him in too?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so how much?
Can you hear us, Austin?
Probably 10 minutes.
10 minutes and,
He's gonna have to call in.
oh,
I think that, cause I have to use the microphone for the.
Austin, can you call in for the executive session? Because he has to mute the microphones.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yes,
non-elected personnel, performance and duty.
yes.
Okay, so I would make a motion to have an executive session, 10 minutes with the commissioners, Road and Bridge Secretary Glenn Cool, County Clerk, acting or Deputy
Yeah.
Clerk, Brad Warren and Austin Parker to discuss non-elected personnel, performance and duties. Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion carried. 10 minutes. That puts it about 1:53. Finding action taken.
Do you guys want a copy of this?
If you can make me a copy, I would appreciate it.
Okay, I'll make that.
Austin's gonna, back here. While you're up here, is there anything else we need to know about road and bridge or services for the elderly?
Yeah. I didn't know that we pay rent on the American Legion building. I just found that out. So rent hasn't been paid since September. But I got a hold of the Legion guys and talked to Steve James and told them.
So is there just a breakdown in the paperwork where they send us the request?
They
or-
don't send anything. I think she just automatically did it and. Since I didn't
Okay,
have much training. I didn't know about.
so we're behind on the rent, but they didn't notify
It's,
you.
it's all,
You paid her up, right?
I'm going to.
Well.
Did I? Yeah, I did. I did.
$500 and some dollars for.
Huh?
It's 500 and some dollars.
I caught it up through the end of it. I called Steve James and told him I'm sorry. And I said, were you gonna let me know? He says, well, I probably would though, eventually.
Okay. Any news on the road and bridge side?
Not really, I think the new guys are doing fine.
Okay.
And
Did the gentleman that was going to come and talk about Chris with,
he did not come.
okay,
He ended up, there was a breakdown in communication between him and guy that was supposed to give him the numbers for that bridge. So he is going to come next week. He thinks probably Wednesday.
okay,
All right. I guess I would share on a kind of a positive note, last work session, we talked about 36 Highway and Goldfinch and that intersection. Jerry Heisel met with the guy from KDOT out there.
Kerry Bramhall.
Gary Brent, sounds like they're gonna work. Actually, the state is going to widen that intersection,
Nice,
so.
And that's the gentleman that I met with in Topeka
right.
to facilitate the permit for the stop signs. So,
Yes, which I got an email yesterday that I hadn't sent the certificate of insurance. But I looked back in my emails and Barb had sent it to me and I had sent it to Carrie once, but. So I resent it. So.
and that was the insurance certificate so they could process the permit for the stop signs. Okay. Can you follow up with him in an email and ask if they were supposed to flag the location and just see when that's gonna happen?
Yes.
Okay. You just want to keep,
Well, there's 2 red flags out there, is that not?
well, the flags that you're seeing are probably from the underground service alert mark that John Sullivan, the county's representative. So I would assume.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
But that is a great example, Lucas, of the state and the county trying to partner with each other. And it's, so far, it's working out really well. They're willing to step up, actually absorb the cost of doing something that we asked to do. So it's wonderful.
I agree. All right, thank you.
okay.
Thank you, Tammy.
Now Sheriff Merchant. Yep, there you are. Come on up. Welcome. Would you like to come up? You bet. Come on up.
I wonder if I could ask for about a 10-minute executive session on non-elected personnel.
Sure. You want?
Get your reading, or
And Austin,
sign up this.
Okay, all right, well, to this non-elected personnel and like duties, performance, compensation, what is it?
I would use, kind of know.
I'd say duties.
Duties?
Yep.
Duties, yeah.
I'll make a motion to go into executive session to discuss non-elected personnel duties with Sheriff Merchant, with Ms. Grabhorn, the 3 commissioners, and then Austin Parker will be calling in.
Yeah. I mean, he does, if he wants to, that's fine.
Yeah, he's sitting right there, so we have to shut that down when we go into executive session.
Okay,
So
so
then
it's
you'll have
been
to call-
moved for 10 minutes. I'll second it. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Be about 2:09. And you come back. about the cost for the grant, the state fund. We're out of executive session back into regular with no binding action taken. Yeah, sorry, I was gonna hang up on you. I was going to ask the state grant that you got back in January, maybe February. The 177,000.
That was when Jerry Moran came.
Jerry
down.
Moran. Yeah, I just, some follow up on that. How's that?
Well, we have it. And I talked to the administrators of that funding a week ago. And they haven't got the schematics out on the way for us to draw down the bill. So we have a couple vehicles ready to go, and it has to be, they said, whatever you do not prepay, do not wait till we tell you how to draw the grant down.
Okay.
And it's there, it's approved, and I was worried about the funding issue with the government and shutdown.
Okay.
And it doesn't think of it all, we just haven't got anything together where we can give you the ways to draw it.
So it's in process.
And then also, hurry up and wait.
Okay.
So,
Very good.
So we'll get them. We're just a minute.
Okay. All right. Thanks for the update.
Anything else, fellas?
I don't think so.
Yeah, good seeing you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty, thank you.
All right.
Take care of this.
I just hung up on him. Very nice.
He knows he's got to call back.
I'm sure he does. Okay, let's do this Troop 313 flag project while we're waiting on him. So. When I read this, I get it. Are they wanting us to be a customer?
Yeah, this is something that it used to be done by. Was it the American Legion? I can't remember, and then the Boy Scouts, because I actually participated in this already. And I know the Boy Scouts took it over. So when I look at this, I think they're just kind of giving us the information. Right? Are they asking if we want?
Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can now, so we can't see it, but we can hear you.
Okay, good. Let me, is it time for my updates as of yet? How do you guys?
It can be.
Yeah.
If you're ready to go, we'll come back to this.
Sure, okay. Well, I'm ready if you are, but if this is convenient, let me, I'll try to, give some updates. So, first of all, we're still waiting to hear back on a couple of different MOUs that are outstanding. Again, I don't want to push people. The tribe said it would be a couple of weeks, a couple of months ago, looking at where our MOUs with dispatch services might be. So we're still waiting on the tribe to come back. So that's been a little while. I've had contact again with the bridge, alternative bridge contract supplier. I'm going to have a meeting with them tomorrow or on Friday. Still firming up times in the morning. There's a third component, if you will, which is the health insurance conversation that's ongoing. Health insurance is, again, we've had no stated intent to move away necessarily from our existing service provider, but there's been a conversation to look at what alternative pricing might be that was propelled at the Amberwell Health question. David over there is looking at how to structure alternative options with Bucati. I understand that information has been sent in the last couple of weeks, so they have the information. There is Amber with Taylor Insurance out of Seneca. That's doing some additional work looking at options relative to Nemaha County's insurance at the moment. There's an alternative self-insured zero deductible copay for local hospital use that's being developed over there. It looks like she's getting some numbers on that. I should know what that looks like April 15th. Somewhere in there, 15th, 21st. There may be an opportunity to have a third person look at things if the board desires with Sailor Insurance. Another local option, so that's always good as well. It's relatively local, one county over. Sort of in a wait and see mode on a couple of these couple of these MOUs at this point. Haven't heard much from the planning commission recently on what we're wanting to do with our moratorium, next steps there. So we should probably look at that shortly. And then there's a couple of, probably routine items of housekeeping. Some of these things that we're going into now, we're starting to bridge in executive sessions over to attorney-client privilege. We're not there yet. We haven't gone into anything where, hey, we need to have an attorney-client privilege executive session. That's specific towards that for a while. But if we're getting ready or starting to talk about things that might impact legal liability, then there may be a different executive session form that comes up, which is, it would, since I'm representing you as the board directly, that would be a motion for us to go into executive session to discuss matters related to legal liability, whether or not that affects personnel, and that would be for attorney-client privilege. So I would go in directly with the board. And very rarely would we invite others in to the attorney-client privileges with the board. Okay. So that attorney-client privilege is another thing that eventually we haven't gotten there yet, but we may, with some of the stuff that we're going towards in legal structuring, otherwise have those types of executive sessions that come up. We can always do that whether I'm there in person or remotely. There's some additional work. I don't know exactly where we're at with the tax foreclosure sale, but we need to get a handle on that and processing. There's a resolution that we talked about last week about selling things from the back end forward and making that a priority of payments. So we need to adopt that before the tax foreclosure sale occurs. I don't know yet where Chris McElgun and Glenda Osterman's at in that structuring. We can adopt that resolution at any time between now and when they actually do the tax foreclosure sale. But we need to adopt that resolution. So
Austin, what's
Yeah.
the next step? I mean, it's simply, you drop some language that we approve.
yeah, I want to make sure that McElgan's fine with the language because this is a very short resolution.
Okay.
I want to make sure McElgan's fine with it. So I'm going to reach out to Chris McElgan this week. I'll be in Wichita on Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. So if I need to have an in-person with them, I'll work to do it then. We can go over some of this. If there's other things related to the tax foreclosure sale that I need to do, I can help kind of liaise back and forth with them, get things rocking and rolling. They need another set of hands to look at
Would
things.
it be reasonable to set a target and say within the next 2 to 3 weeks, we could have that resolution in place?
Oh, yes, that's a very reasonable target. My plan is to meet with them Tuesday, Wednesday of next week if I need to in person to make sure the resolution looks like what they want. Good. But also during that Tuesday, Wednesday, if I need to talk through other logistics of how to accelerate the tax foreclosure sale process, if I could understand that, I'd like to meet with them on that. And I'm not sure who's doing our title insurance work on that part of the project. If that's gone out yet or that's not gone out. If that's
It
being done.
Sounded like they had already entered into an agreement with somebody to do all their title work.
Okay. So I'm going to find it. I need to follow up on that, see where we're at in that process. I may just schedule a meeting with McElgan while I'm in town. Those are the main things at the moment. We're heading into budget season though. I know it sounds early, but it's not. When we're in April, we need to be thinking about our July, August budget. And so I think probably, trying to have a resource for department heads in the next couple of weeks, department heads to outline their 3 to 5 year capital needs. It would be a reasonable next step for us to have Scott. I think Scott's helping us on the budget as a consultant. Maybe have him come in the next couple of weeks and we talk through what that infrastructure looks like for him to do the capital planning. So that would be a good next step.
Austin,
Yeah.
Scott Lloyd's scheduled for April 16th for department head.
Hey, sometimes I'm scheduling is right.
There you
I
go.
guess I was right here. I said, yeah, about April 15th, 16th, he's already on it. We're right there. So
Yep.
let's just plan on that for April 16th. And then there is also on the emergency management side, obviously we had excuse me one second. We had a candidate interview, for potential assistance on the, for potential assistance regarding the emergency management position that might be from a consulting standpoint. And so that would be something that could go on the agenda for 2:00 next meeting, to have an individual that's interested in potential consulting relationship, be a personnel, but it would function very limited in terms of time. So I would
Just to
suggest,
touch on that, Austin,
Yeah.
so what you're talking about is one of the other counties is using somebody already, and they would be willing to help us kind of the overflow, the setup, go after grants, that kind of, so whoever we hire for emergency management, they would work with them, correct?
yeah, yes, and there's some specific tasks that we'd want to identify. You're absolutely right, Commissioner Richard. One of the tasks would be local emergency management operational planning. So you have to have a plan. The documents above 700 pages long. If we mimic Nemaha County's document size, not Sedgwick County's document size, over 900 pages long last time I checked. But it's a substantial document that is required by federal entities for emergency management purposes. It allows us to get grants. It also allows us to access FEMA dollars more directly in the event of a natural disaster emergency. So I would suggest that having an outside consultant to assist with that paperwork, and then to assist with filing for grants, and then also maintaining that, in addition to boots on the ground, having that consultant to help is really where we get the maximum value. So you got a consultant that can help with all that paperwork, and then you've got boots on the ground that can also work with the consultant to be up to speed on some of these specific tasks for emergency management. So that's how I'd look at that.
Okay.
Other than that, I desperately wanted to be there in person this meeting. I was all set to be there in person. I had, yesterday, I went to too much about my life, but I will tell you, I was at Nemaha County's commission meeting, and I pulled in and I had a fully functional car, and I went to start the car after the meeting was over with, and the car is dead. So fine folks, down the street at the shop are working on it right now. But I had no vehicle, so I had to get a ride back, which is okay. But my vehicle is right now in Seneca, Kansas, being repaired. So I apologize. I was supposed to be there in person, but without a vehicle, I had to catch a ride back. And I'm remote again, but I'll be there next week.
So Austin, when we go through the meeting packet, we see this document retention, preservation of relevant information related to litigation. Did you
Yeah.
mention that? Do we need to talk about that?
So I've got that actually up right here. Hold on here. We can chat about that.
Can we do
Yes.
that in open session, or does that need to be executive?
This is I'm trying to look at which in the packet, which document it is.
I think it needs to be an executive session. Definitely.
I think it needs to go into executive session. I think that would be good. Because this is an example of I guess our first attorney-client, our first attorney, or maybe our second attorney-client privilege. This is an example of when we go in for attorney-client privilege. So it'd be a motion to go into executive session for 10 minutes to discuss matters related to potential legal liability and document retention, and to invite in County Councilor Austin Parker.
So I guess I'll make that in the form of a motion. Do I need to repeat that?
So I'll just restate it. Yeah, motion to go into executive session for attorney-client privilege to invite in County Council to discuss matters related to potential legal liability and document retention. That's it.
I'll second it.
Yep. Okay, it's been moving second, then all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And it's 10 minutes, so we'll come back about 2:34.
Sounds good.
And I'll get my phone here again, so just for some reason, we have to have you call me, Austin. We'll talk over the phone.
He has to shut
That's
off
okay.
the microphone, so.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm heading back into the regular.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
We're out of executive session, back into regular with no binding action. Hey. We had mentioned.
Correct.
Did we get anywhere with the process?
Yes. So I spoke with Nikki on the phone about it. So I also notified the applicant that we would be doing a background check, and he was fine with that. He has to sign some documents with Barb or with Nikki, and then that background check will be processed and you get the results back.
Okay. Will we discuss compensation at a later time then?
Yes, I think so.
Hello, all.
Welcome back.
Okay.
Okay, so Austin, I have a question for you. We have a certain position that in my opinion, the job description no longer fits what we need. How do
Yeah.
we make a change to a job description for a position that's, I guess, currently filled?
No, we just issue a change to the job description. And then we issue that change and allow the employee to acknowledge that the duties have changed to this. And then that just goes into the employee's personnel file. How we do that.
Okay. So is that something we work together with the employee to come up with, or how does that, do we come up with it and present it?
I think you want to have you can come up with some initial information and then sit down with the employee and make sure that the job description accurately identifies the employee's job duties on a regular basis, and then have both sides sign it, put it in the personnel file.
Okay.
And so I'd come up with a list, and then I could put it into a form, help us put it into a form that says this acknowledges the duties and scope of the employee's performance.
Okay.
That's what I would do.
Simple enough.
Yeah.
Right. You have a
So I think that we need, I apologize that we keep doing this and running people out of the room, but I think we need to go into another executive session to discuss personnel performance. I think 10 minutes would be enough, and I would want
Do
to.
you need anybody other than me, or
I would
just
want to
you?
do that with you and the two other commissioners, and then also Barb. The only reason why
Sure, why not?
I would want Barb in that meeting as well. And I think 10 minutes is enough.
Sure.
So I would second that motion. It's been moved and seconded to go into executive session for 10 minutes. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carried. I got my phone here again.
I'm sorry, Dallas.
Bye, Dallas.
Okay, we're out of executive session, back into regular, with no binding action taken. However, I will make a motion that we go back into executive session to discuss the same thing with the three commissioners, county counselor, and the deputy clerk present. Is there a second?
Second,
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 I'm.
Okay, motion carried. 10 minutes puts us about 2:58.
I think there does.
Okay.
You're absolutely right.
Austin, we're out of executive session, back into regular with no binding action taken. Are you ready to jump back on Zoom?
I'm ready to jump back on, man.
Okay. I got lost a little bit in the translation there.
It's just base salary. Okay, that's unburdened.
Hi all.
All right, welcome back. Okay, well, we got through multiple executive sessions. Is there anything else on the list while you're on Zoom, Austin?
No, I think next week after we have a little more information, we may not have to authorize a specific special project. For me, at this point this week, I don't think I have a lot I need to do on that. But a special project, we may see that next week. And then I also think we may want to have a conversation. We're having Scott's coming in to deal with the budget on the 16th, which I think is good from a planning perspective. I would suggest that we want to have coming out of this budget, we want to have an expectation of what our 5-year capital planning looks like. And that's going to help us understand what we need to be doing in reserves. I'm not the city's financial advisor. I'm not the county's financial advisor, rather, I'm sorry. County has other people that could be a financial advisor if they wanted to engage. I can tell you what I've seen in terms of reserves elsewhere. We don't have utility enterprise funds here, but if you had a utility enterprise funds, they have 6 months to a year in operational reserves. From a cash reserve standpoint, 90 is the minimum, 120 to 180 days is usually good if you have your operational bank account. You've got that carries over from year to year. And then a capital improvement budget back in reserve, somewhere between 75, could be as low as 50, but 75% to 100% of your annual budget, at least for the general fund. And then individual departments, we're not close to that. We're nowhere close to that. Okay, so think of it like an equipment reserve on the farm.
Before you go any further, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. If we go back 4 years, we had that amount, right?
Yes.
Not of 75% of your budget.
Not
Not of the whole budget, but of the general fund, you guys had that.
Oh,
so
Yeah, with non-departments, but you guys have about a $3 to $5 million general fund, and you guys had a $3 to $5 million reserve,
right.
which is generally where you want to be. We don't have that right now.
Right.
Okay, so, and I say this for the benefit of you, which you already know this, commissioners, but for the benefit of the public. Imagine you're running a farm and you have no equipment account and no emergency reserves. Now, that's where the county is at this moment. Now, it's hard to visualize that. I'm not saying anything bad about prior commissions. People have spent down reserves in the past elsewhere. But you've got to understand that as a government, people don't look at us like an entity that is taking on service responsibility. I'm not sitting on a soapbox, but I will give you this context for anybody that's watching. A government, the whole reason a government exists is to provide services that other people never get into business to provide. That's how governments evolve. That's why county government exists. No one's going to get in the business of providing snow removal for public places in the event of a storm. There's no reason monetarily to do that. Nobody gets in that business. That's a public service. Okay. Other governments, stuff that cities get into, like utilities. People got into the business of selling gas because you can make money at it. People tried to get into the business of selling water back 160 years ago, but they figured out you could make no money with it. So they stopped doing it. Then government stepped in so that everybody had potable water. On the county level, we don't provide that many services, but we provide what people touch out of a county that is not an elected official is the asphalt or the dirt that they drive on every day so they can get to work. Right? In addition to that, we provide some other services, noxious weeds. You can buy chemicals. 75, 80 years ago, you couldn't buy chemicals. Now you can buy chemicals. All right. But it's there. So really and then we have public safety, which the sheriff takes care of. That's an elected official. All right. The clerk, which goes on ahead and deals with the routine administrative functions of the county, as well as the collection of taxes. The treasurer's office, which deals with how much we are assessing the taxes and maintaining a ledger for the county. The register of deeds, which records documents so that people can have property interests that are safe. That's accounting, right? Most of our budget goes to public safety and some of those limited functions in there, but it's a lot of public safety and it's a lot of road and bridges. And then we have to employ people to do that so that the road and bridges are safe enough to drive on. So right now, what our county is facing heading into this budget is it is like a public business, like a private business, only it's public. So it makes no money off of doing roads. It has to use limited tax authority, okay, to levy enough funds to keep it so that the thing that allows people to move in and out of the county is maintained, and these essential services so that people can run their private businesses are open, and it's doing it without any backup. So there's going to have to be some look in this budget over the next 5 years of what type of a backup is not necessarily acceptable, but just livable. Okay. And that's going to have to be something that we try to avoid from, what does that mean financially? But that's why the county is having to look at some of these things. You can't spend all of your reserve down and then every year face a 2 mil increase, because right now you face a 1.5 to 2 mil increase if you did nothing to adjust your budget just to keep up with the cost of commodities. Costs inflate, and cost of commodities, routine items. Commodities in this context means health insurance, right? You have an annual premium increase that if you had a fully insured policy outside of this would be 1 mil approximately every year. That's just the absorption rate. On the private side, we get away with with increasing fees sometimes to cover some of that, but we've seen over the last few years, you can't even do that because inflation's gone so high. So the commodities on the private side and on the farm side that everybody is seeing that they have to spend more on than they did before are the same commodities that we oftentimes have to buy on the government, right? But at the same time, we're trying to cut taxes, right? So there's a balance that comes in. Cut taxes, cut expenses, cut spending, but we still have to deal with these things. So that's why the commission's done a great job of being innovative to try to figure out how do we streamline this? How do we outsource what we can? How do we do more with less, right? But in this budget context, everybody's going to have to look and be innovative, I would suggest, and say, how do I take this equipment that I have or these expenditures and make it as streamlined as possible so that we can get by with what we have, and then at the end of 5 years, hopefully have some reserves.
Yeah.
That's
I
what
think the important thing that you're talking on too is that everybody understands we're trying to do this over time.
Yeah.
We're not trying to fix all the problems in 1 year.
No.
But to have an outlook of 5 years, maybe it's 7 years. Maybe we have to be honest and say it's going to take 7 years of this type of, cutting and making sure we're running as efficient as possible to try to get back to where we have some reserves. Right? And
You're absolutely right.
And let people know we're not trying to save the world in 1 year or 2 years. We're looking years down the road, but exactly what you said, some of those increases that we face, they add up to like $1 mil or $2 million a year.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not sustainable for most people. I feel really bad for people, especially on fixed incomes, because they're sitting here living in a county that they've lived in for years, maybe their whole life, and things have gotten expensive. So anyways.
Well, the
I
commission's
just
doing the
wanted to
right
say, I agree with it. If we can, as we go into budget or whatever, we can continue to say, this is not something we're gonna fix right away, but we have a plan. And at least if we have a plan, we can try to stick to that.
You're absolutely right. And I don't think you can say this, like, there's no overnight fix here.
No.
There's no way that you can levy your way to this. There's there has to be systemic changes. And I think it's going to be 7 years until you see some level of decent reserve that comes back, that you've got something in the background. Now, thankfully, but that's also why we're looking at these alternative projects. Like, what does road and bridge maintenance mean? What does it mean in 2028 to maintain a road? And so some of these alternative projects that you're looking at, or a larger scale project that may save money in the long term, you have to do this to be sustainable and survive. And we're not the only county that's faced this. We're facing it with a larger population. If you look at Western Kansas counties, they've had to figure out what it's going to mean to be a county in the 21st century in the last 20 years ago. And for us, we've got the blessing of enough population that has led us to not have to answer this question until now, but we're having to. And this commission's doing a good job of trying to figure out where it's going.
Well, if you listen to local radio and you hear every morning when they're talking, I mean, I know we just received some emails from a commissioner from another county that's nearby. And they reached out to us, and, you know, they're having the exact same problems. And so we're trying to, like, possibly meet and talk and, you know, what are you doing to, you know, it helps when you talk to other people going through the same situation and to get some of their ideas, you know?
Yeah.
We don't have all the ideas. So that's what we're actively doing right now, is give us some examples of how you guys have handled, you know, deteriorating bridges and roads. We have 197 bridges in this county, and they're not new. So.
Oh, and other thing I would point out for people is that you've been going now for 4 months. 3 months, excuse me, this year. We're heading into our 4th month. We're through 1 quarter. How many special projects, right, have you approved this year so far, or has been requested? 0. You are not spending money. You are doing what's necessary to keep the doors open, right? But you're not spending money. Same narrative fits with what's going in Nemaha, right? That I'm just saying that locally there is an effort at the elected official level to try to control expenses, right? And then the effort, I think, translates when Scott comes in to try to give us some advice on our budget. How do we get to where we need to be? And what does that look like 5 to 7 years from now? I agree with Richard. I think it's probably 7 years. Any government that I've seen that spent down its reserves this far, it's usually a 7-year track. And not many people have, right? So I can't tell you that I've seen this extreme, but I have seen other governments that have come back with no reserves at the end of 7 years, and there's reserves again. And there's enough there, right? We're going to be okay. It's not like we can't figure this out. We've gone this far without doing it, but yeah, there's some work to do. I'll stop talking.
That's all good stuff. The spending is the uncomfortable thing to address. We are attempting to address it, but revenue collection is also terribly uncomfortable for the board too. The budget is the single biggest impact that we as commissioners can have on the county. And yeah, we need to get started. This is round 1 for you, round 2 for me, and we're ready, as ready as we can be. So Austin, if there's anything else you have for us, go ahead. And if not, I mean, I appreciate it.
No, I'll be there next week.
Okay, provided your car gets fixed, right?
Provided, even if my car doesn't get fixed, I've got a thumb.
Okay.
Well, Bill's offered to come pick you up too, if you need to. A ride, so.
Gotta get out of the city first before I come pick you up.
Sounds good. All right, guys. Thanks, guys. Not good.
Maybe when he's talking 5-year capital, outlay. Is that what he means, capital outlay, or is he talking about that's your 7 year?
No, he's talking, so basically what we're talking about is going, is trying to figure out, so for instance, if we went up to the clerk's office right now and Barb's here and Mickey's not, and we said, can you tell us, can you look into the future and tell us, are there things you're gonna need to run your office in the next couple of years that we don't know about?
Okay,
So you're just trying to identify, so you don't get the guys walking in saying, we need a new dump truck right now, right? It's trying to have an understanding of what all these departments that work within this courthouse, they have ideas. Or at least they can sit down and go, you know what, I'm gonna have to replace this or that in the next 2 years or 3 years. So we can kind of take a look at what our big expenditures are gonna be.
okay.
So yeah, I hung on at the end. Richard's absolutely right. So a comment section would be, how are you going to try to keep your mill stable, limited increases, and still meet this? Okay, so that's why we're so focused on the health insurance. The health insurance, 1 mil. Okay, every year when you stare down the barrel of health insurance, it's a mil. So if you can get an understanding of through potential self-insurance options where you've got no more mills of increase, it's stable, and you've had some good years over the next 7 years, it's probably a 7-year pass at this, where you're built up enough so that at the end of 7 years, you're self-absorbing any premium increase because you're self-insuring a majority of the front end of employee expenses. Okay, that's part one. Part two is we're going to be in a fiscally lean circumstance as a government for years. Like there's not going to be a time, there shouldn't ever be a time where government spending is just without a lot of thought because it's taxpayer dollars, but this is not going to change. And basically at the end of the year, you're going to have to be faced with the fact that you've underspent for certain types of things and done more with less for 5 or 6 years, with the hope that at the end of the year, maybe you find $150,000, $200,000 you could transfer into a long-term capital improvement plan because you didn't spend all of your general fund repairs, right? And if you can do that for 5 or 6 years, 7 years, you wake up, you have 1.5, 1.7 million sitting in that reserve account. And maybe each year on top of that, maybe if we're lucky, we allocate $50,000 to $100,000 as a capital improvement set aside, right? That may get you to $2 million, which is basically at the end of where we'd want to be at today. If you had $2 million in reserves, and what does $2 million buy you? $2 million buys you 2 miles of road. If you went out and privately contracted, to put it into examples for people that they could say, what does $2 million buy you? $2 million today buys you 2 miles of road, that fully paved road. Now that's, yep. And so I would say that, we have hundreds of miles of road that we're trying to figure out how to maintain with a semi-permanent base to get out of the business of just patching over the top with chip and seal, which doesn't necessarily deal with the underlying base. So we've got a lot of these things that we're trying to do in the right way. But what I'm suggesting is that the amount of money that we're trying to get into reserves is just so that we can deal with a handicap that we don't even see coming. There's something down the road that we may not see coming that we don't want to have to issue a bond to come. So that's the idea, if that makes sense.
Right.
Did I misstate anything, Richard, from your perspective on where you're coming
No,
from?
and I think one of the things Brown County has going for it too is it's not a county that has a bunch of loans. There's a lot of counties that already have loans, and they're basically paying interest every year on loans that they have for a project that they need to do. If you look at this county, I think it's kind of amazing that we don't, have a bunch of current loans already. That's a good thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we should be, as Brown County residents, we should be happy that we're in that position.
And that's a compliment to prior commissions, okay? Because I was a little bit like, well, I wouldn't say tough, but direct about, we spent down our reserves, but a compliment is that we don't have debt. Okay, so debt has to be strategic. If you're going to use debt to do a large project, you have to do a cost benefit analysis to say this is going to save you money or it's going to break even. And right now we don't have any debt to worry about, so that's thing. Good.
One of the other things I would like to just bring up what we are all here is we have to start really aggressively looking at the possibility of grants to,
Yes.
to fix some of our problems. You know, that's a pretty broad statement, but there are grants out there that I don't think that, I mean, we have applied for grants for bridges and for certain things, but I'm just saying, I think we need to do a better job. I'm not saying we're not doing it. I just think we need to do a better job of looking for available grants from the state, Fed grants, those kind of things. Because with 270 miles of road, and obviously road and bridge is a huge part of this budget. But if we could reduce that 270 miles of the way we currently do it right now, if we could take 20 miles off of that by a more permanent solution through grants or through available, you know, methods to maybe replace those roads with asphalted roads, we need to be looking at it that way. Because every bit that we take off, it's just less that we're gonna have to chip and seal or maintain. We, you know, a good asphalt overlay road is probably a 15 to 20-year road if we take care of it. So.
So
Again, I'm
right.
not saying that we haven't, or previous commissions haven't. I just say we need to really focus on how do we become more aggressive with grants.
You're absolutely right. And, you know, layering these things in, and it's not even, you know, this is not, it's something that will just materialize and make sense over time, how we approach that. There'll be some options that'll come up, I'm sure, over the next 12 to 18 months. And then being strategic to figure out where we want to go, it'll start to make sense. So that's enough probably from my perspective on the budget side, but I wanted to state that those are some goals looking into April 16th that we should be measuring now. And I think if we ask Scott that, and Richard, I think there's probably some stuff that you're thinking about too, in terms of operational definition in some of the departments, because we haven't defined some of those budgets deeply. Maybe not the elected officials off, but the non-elected operations. How do we get into, you know, really defining what some of these expenses are and breaking them down? That's going to be helpful. So,
Right.
Anyway, guys, anything else for me?
I think we're good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Can I was sent a letter about a week and a half ago from one of our residents, and I went out and visited that site. Can I update you guys on that right now, or do you guys want to do something else?
Update.
Okay, so I think you guys saw the letter, or are you familiar with what I'm talking about? So I'll over here. So after visiting it, I have a different opinion of it. So we're talking about Kestrel Road and 300. Okay. And as you know, this road was vacated on this side back in 1954 over here by the county. I looked into the original documentation and it was done correctly, so that's good. And the particular person that I met with lives here and owns this property here. This road at this point, Kestrel Road, it flows this way to the south, and it's a pretty steep grade, actually. There's a hill. But currently what's happening is when I received the initial letter, it made it sound like, well, the initial letter it was requesting that the county compensate for work that they have done along what would have been the road ditch back when this was a county road. Correct? It's no longer a county road. This has nothing to do with this now. But we do have a county easement along the road where the ditch is, correct? Where the water is supposed to flow. And the problem I see here is, for whatever reason, there is no tube here and there is no tube here. So all the water, which is quite a bit of water, comes down this ditch. And instead of going through the tube and continuing down the county's ditch, it jets out into this area and then it ends up over here and it ends up in it. This area is always saturated. So they are continually fighting the county's runoff from this ditch that ends up out here. The simple solution, in my opinion, is this is dirt, is that we put a tube across here and carry our water and prevent it from going into their field. We have the tubes. It's not a costly, expenditure. Now, currently, there is a cross gutter box culvert that goes underneath the road right here. So not only does this property get all of the water from this ditch, but when the water comes down this ditch, since there's no tube here, it backs up into this field, but then it goes underneath the road. And so they're getting the water from two. Now, I know on my own personal farm property, I had a problem one time where the ditch had eroded and I was getting all the county's water from the ditch into my field. And I contacted the county commissioner at the time. They came out and said, hey, we'll fix it. And they did. And now the water continues down the ditch. So I don't see why this would be any different. And I don't see why the county putting in a tube here and a tube here is that big a deal. It's not a very wide road to begin with. And that's going to stop all, if most, if not all, the water that is causing the problem.
So the water going east, so the railroad goes between there and
So
creek,
the
right?
north, right? And you're
Right.
talking about east,
So the railroad goes between the road and the creek, right?
the creek would be out here, what you're referring to?
Yeah,
Okay,
and where's the railroad?
the railroad is along there also,
On the west side of the creek,
on the west side of the creek, correct?
so the water has to get
And-
past the railroad to get.
And what I've been told is there's certain times of the year where this will all be underwater over here by the railroad. Why the railroad hasn't said something already, I don't know. But again, originally when I went there, they were asking for compensation and they were asking, they were basically kind of saying that because this ditch is all filled in since 1954, and I explained to them, we have no responsibility over here. We do have an easement here. And I do believe that there should be a tube there because all we're wanting to do is continue to carry our water south. That's all. And if we were to do that, I mean, it's
Is this in conjunction with the township?
the township, so this would be a township road here. And I would talk to the township about if they would be willing to, but again, this is one of those things where we get the township and we get our crew out there and we knock this thing out really quick.
Yeah, that's what
And we have the tubes already. So I think that we kind of have an obligation to prevent the county water from entering their field. So I just wanted your opinion on that as well.
So the box culvert that drains to the east,
Box culvert is underneath the road, yes.
so you're gonna
It
catch
goes east-west.
that water and take it south.
Yeah, you would still leave the box culvert there, because what it would do is it would equalize the water coming down, whether it's if there is a tube here, then most of the water wouldn't need to go on the road anymore here. But you already have, even if that thing was never there, you would still have all this water going this way. And you have all this water hitting here and going out, just
Yeah,
back.
no, sounds fine.
So,
So my question is, after it gets south of the road,
yes,
where does it, on the east side, where does it go? Or on
there's
on both
ditches,
sides?
there's ditches on this that just not taking it.
Then eventually it gets to the creek?
Well, if you continue south, I think you'd have to go down and figure out exactly where, but it's ditches along the road.
That's right.
And gravity's taking
Sounds
it
good.
to the south.
Good.
So.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I don't know why,
Maybe they're there, maybe they're buried.
very possible, I don't know. But I think that we have the tubes and I think.
Sure.
This is just one of those situations I've already explained to her, we're not in the business to compensate them for any of the work they did out here, that's on them. But
Have you been out there with the road and bridge?
I have not,
Okay.
but I did mention it to one of the foremen.
Okay.
And he was like, yeah, I don't know why.
Don't find to me, yeah, no, good diagram though. Explains it. Nice job.
An artist I am not.
Well, and we really don't, I mean, are you looking for permission or just consensus here?
Yeah, I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
I don't want to just say, oh, this is what we're gonna do, I mean,
That's a problem. It can be fixed with equipment we already have and tubes in our possession. We just will fix it. Okay. Sound good to you?
Agree, yep.
All right. So will you take just make the phone call?
sure.
Good job. Anything else?
No, those are the kind of actual problems that are interesting and
Solvable.
I look at, she pays county taxes. And we want to be able to help her out and do something that's totally reasonable, so.
Okay, sounds good. All right, I'll steer us back to the agenda and item number 8, which is a Troop 313 flag project. So we have a pre-filled out flag agreement here. I guess if we decide to participate and it's for 8 flags here at the courthouse.
8 flags, that's where it used to be.
Okay, so you're familiar with this.
And we decided at one time that we didn't want to do that anymore.
Okay,
I think we haven't been doing it, I don't think lately.
we have it.
So that 8 flags is like $400,
$400. Okay,
and we've already got 8 flags on the courthouse.
do they have the markers here somewhere where they did it in the past? You know? But the flag stands, it says here they insert something in the ground. Okay. All right. Yeah, any comments on this?
You want us to pass on it?
Well, I think one of the reasons Bill's saying is because the courthouse already displays a number of flags here. Correct? Is that what?
Partially, yeah.
I don't know what the commissioners were thinking at the time, but I'm assuming that they said we have, we're displaying a bunch of flags. So, this time at the courthouse, we don't need additional flags.
I conserve what we're spending. That we don't want to support the Boy Scouts, but. Or they're not Boy Scouts anymore, I guess.
So it is, BSA, Boy Scouts of America,
No.
or Scouts, whatever they're called.
We're just,
I think it's Scouting America.
Scouting America, okay, so was that, we're just gonna, who's this? I'm looking for direction.
I would say that we should at least reach out, one of us should at least reach out and talk to the troop leader and just
Okay.
explain, Not that we don't think it's a wonderful idea, and I actually,
If we found someone that would contribute to this, then honestly, would we support them?
100%.
Okay, so we can do that by consensus, if we can find the funds, would you allow the flags to go up?
One, I think would be wonderful.
Okay, all right, so if I can find somebody, we might go ahead and just do. Sound good to you?
Mhm.
Okay, do we need that in the form of a motion?
So, can we bring that?
Yeah.
Then we can.
Or we can just. Okay, we can, I didn't hear you, so there's nothing acting confused,
So if you do find someone, then.
okay?
Yeah.
That'd be
Yes.
fine, so we can table it for now until we find somebody that, all right, good enough. Okay, moving on, we already did that. That was county councilor updates, did you have any? We don't have a work session on Thursday, not correct?
Yes, because Nikki wasn't gonna be here.
That's cool. Do we have any results from, is there anything else you want to share with us about Road and Bridge? While we're here as a commission, that we can say in open session, or we want to go?
I think we need to go into executive session to discuss the matter.
Okay.
Because it involves
With who?
people's names. Yeah, I think if we went into executive session for 10 minutes.
Okay.
With the 3 commissioners and also the deputy clerk. And to discuss I guess, employee performance. I
Okay,
think that'll be enough.
so that's a motion, I'll make a second, it's been moved and seconded, to go in executive session for 10 minutes, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye,
I
okay, motion carried, 10 minutes puts us at 3:42. All right, we're out of executive session, back into regular with no binding action taken. Only other thing I had on my list is, do we need to look at our schedule for the next coffee with commissioners? I know Nikki's not here, but I just wanted to put it in your brain.
I got a call today from a person asking when the next one would be. I told them that originally our thought process was once a quarter, right?
Okay.
So the next one would technically be June, right? I mean, once a quarter, I mean, that would be a good, we had ours in February, correct? I believe.
Time gets,
So
time gets
anyways,
away.
if we can get it out there on the calendar and say, let's just throw this date out there and start telling people now, it's a good thing. So
Okay,
maybe our next workshop meeting, we can look at the calendar and come up with it.
so you guys will have that in your brain. We just need to start thinking, because I had a person ask me about it too. And in fact, the county commissioner from South that wanted to tag along on that idea.
Yes.
Have it. So, and actually they did, they jumped right in. They piggybacked with the different legislative agreements. So that's excellent. Okay, is there any other business to come before the commission? Okay, if not, are we done? Is there, you're good? Is there a motion to adjourn then?
No meeting on Thursday,
Yeah, no
No
work
meeting
session.
on Thursday, no workshop meeting.
We're back here on
Monday.
Monday. Yep.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Okay, so moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, meeting adjourned. Thank you. We got a lot of stuff to. You want to start on them?